smokers, ladies and gentlemen, I just got off the Facebook earnings call and we got a lot to talk about here today in regards to Facebook stock. I want to go through all the numbers here reported by Facebook. I want to give you my opinion on these numbers. Basically, if you don't already know, I've built Facebook into my biggest position over the last couple months. I've been adding shares very aggressively. I even bought some more shares here today a few hours before earnings came out, which is very uncharacteristic of me. I don't usually buy a bunch more shares in a stock right before they're about to report earnings, but I decided to go ahead and do it here with Facebook. So I just kind of want to go through all those different reasons, all the numbers and whatnot. We'll look at the stock price, how that's reacting and whatnot. Hope you guys enjoy this as always. By the way, there are only a limited amount of tickets available still for the conference. So if you want to come, make sure you get those tickets ASAP. It's the first link down there in the description, all right? So Facebook stock after hours, it's up around 4.5%-ish as of taking the screenshot. It was up a little under 3% today on the day. Not a big reaction, and as far as Facebook stock after hours, it's been all over the place. Like I've seen Facebook stock a down 4 or 5% plus in after hours. I've seen it around break even for quite a while. I've seen it now up, 4 or 5% after the conference call's over. So, nothing will surprise me tomorrow as far as where that stock goes. If it's a big day for Facebook, a weekday, or if it's a day where the stock hardly moves and it's only maybe up or down a couple percent, like that wouldn't surprise me. I see that a lot of times happen with these stocks that are just kind of moving in this 3 to 5% range after hours. So we shall see, guys. Now, as far as the numbers go, okay, let's start going through all these. This is daily active users. This is only the Facebook platform, okay? This is not Instagram. This is not WhatsApp. This is not Facebook Messenger. This is only literally the Facebook platform. Daily active users came in just under 1.5 billion there. All right, so, still growing. That's impressive that Facebook can still grow the Facebook platform. You would think completely all growth is dead, and if anything, it would be going down. They still have found a way to, keep daily active users at a pretty strong metric. Monthly active users, this is once again only the Facebook platform, not Instagram, not WhatsApp, none of that. Over 2.2 billion monthly active users. So still another segment that is still growing for the company, all right? As far as revenue goes here, revenue is a very nice increase year over year, a 30+% clip year over year revenue growth up to $13.7 billion. The same quarter last year, they did about 10.3 billion. So a very nice increase. And I think the thing that impresses me the most about the revenue growth is a lot of management's attention and time right now, as far as the executive team, is not really so much focused on revenue growth, is more focused on the security issues and hiring more and more personnel and on a lot of that type of side of their business. So the fact that they could have 30+% revenue growth in a quarter that is probably the secondary or the third thing that's on management's mind is a very, very impressive number there, okay? Revenue by user geography. This is very, very strong segment, as you notice, in the US and Canada. It still very much dominates their business. One of the markets I was really impressed with here is Europe. If you look at the European numbers, 2.4 billion in the same quarter last year, now up to 3.3. You would think with all the regulations and whatnot, that would have, just really hurt revenue growth in a massive, massive way. And it's still a very, very nice increase year over year there. As we see, Asia Pacific is still a market that's growing very fast, and the rest of the world is growing very fast, all right? This is one of the most important slides we're going to look at, if not the most important slide right here. This is the average revenue per user, otherwise known as ARPU. What we'll notice here is the US and Canada for this past quarter came in at around $27.61 average revenue per user in the United States and Canada, okay? Now, if we notice, Europe lags that number massively. So first off, US and Canada, that number should continue to increase over time. I think they can probably get that number to somewhere between $40 and $60, within a 3 to 5 year span as far as the ARPU for US and Canada users. But over the next 3 to 5 years, I see Europe be getting to a point where they can be somewhere where the US and Canada is at a 20 to 25, maybe even over a $25 range over the next 3 to 5 years. Europe has a long, long way to go. I mean, it's natural that the US and Canada kind of leads because this was Facebook's main first market. It's where they rolled out ads first. It's where everybody familiarized themselves with the different platforms and whatnot. And it's where Facebook's attention has been. But, over the next 3 to 5 years, Europe should definitely grow to be somewhere where US and can is, if we look here, Asia Pacific is a little over $2.50. So $2.67 average revenue per user in Asia Pacific. Over the next 3 to 5 years, I think that number has a great opportunity to increase somewhere around where Europe is, in that $8 plus range over the next 3 to 5 years. So we have a lot of growth still to come in the average revenue per user segment there, okay? Income from operations, not an impressive category here. So $5.781 billion here in Q3 2018 versus the same period last year they did $5.122 billion. This is not a very impressive number to me, but it is impressive in when you take into context that their headcount is up over 45% year over year. They've hired a massive amount of employees, and they've spent a ton of money on kind of the security and privacy side of their business, which is hurting the profits here in the short term. This is a massive spend in 2018 and part of 2019 for a long-term gain in 2020 and beyond. So it's a lot of money spent right now. It hurts the profitability right now. It hurts the margins right now. But long-term, this could be a huge catalyst for growth in the future, okay? As far as operating margin goes, it's down to 42% in this most recent quarter. However, once again, all these massive amounts of hiring that Facebook has done has hurt the operating margin, has hurt income, everything, okay? But if you look at this on a long-term basis, I see them returning to somewhere between a 40% and a 50% operating margin on a long-term basis. I see that something around 2020 and past, they can get back to that rate and kind of get out of this, 40 to 44%, let's say, range they're probably going to be in the next 12 months or whatnot. So long term, they should get back to that 47 to 50% range there. Net income, once again, is not going to be very impressive right now. $5.1 billion for this past quarter as far as net income, and last year, the same quarter, they did $4.7 billion in net income there. So once again, obviously that's because of all the hiring and whatnot they've done, all the spending. Diluted earnings per share came in at $1.76 versus $1.59. It's still impressive that they can still have EPS and net income go up year over year, despite, once again, management's attention is not so much on the revenue and the profit side of the business right now. That's a secondary thing. And also the mere fact that they have hired a ridiculous amount of employees and they're spending a ridiculous amount of money on privacy, security, all those type of things. I think it's very impressive that they can still grow those numbers the way they have, okay? As far as capital investments, this is a whoa number for me, okay? Look at that. So last year, the same quarter, capital investments, they spent $1.7 billion. This quarter, 3.3. So basically a double up year over year in capital investments. That's a massive difference there, guys, in the spending, okay? As far as a basic press release, a couple things really stuck out to me, all right? The first thing was they have over 2 billion people total that use at least one of their services every single day, okay? Over 2 billion people use one of their services every single day. So whether it be Facebook Messenger, Facebook platform, Instagram platform, or WhatsApp or something, at least 2 billion people are using at least one of those every single day. I don't think we've ever seen a type of scale of on this type of level, guys. Maybe Apple is somewhere around there, maybe Google somewhere around there, but even Apple and Google, I don't think have 2 billion plus people using their products or services every single day. These numbers are unreal, guys, unreal numbers, okay? As far as revenue, that was up 33% year over year. Net income was only up 9%, once again, because of massive spending. The other category that really stuck out to me was the headcount. Once again here, okay? Up 45% year over year to over 33,000 employees now at this point in time. I think it's a really good thing on a long-term basis to hire out these employees to help the business and kind of navigate it in the future, all right? Now, lastly here, if we look at their cash and cash equivalents, it's around $42 billion there, okay? So overall, and then we'll get to kind of, how many shares I bought and the cost I bought them at today. Overall, as far as the Facebook earnings, I would say, if I had to give them a grade, let's put it this way, if I had to give them a grade, I would give them a B. I would give them a B. It wasn't an A quarter where it was like, oh my gosh, they just killed everything. It's just like the greatest earnings ever. It wasn't that, but it wasn't like it was like a C or a D earnings where it was like, oh, this is not very good or this is bad earnings or whatnot. Strong growth, and once again, management's attention as far as executive team is really not on necessarily growing the revenues and profits right now. It's more on making sure all these platforms survive, making sure the Facebook brand survives long term, and making these long-term decisions as far as hiring massive amounts of employees and whatnot to kind of preserve their brands long term so they can thrive into the future, which I think is a really intelligent move. In a world where so many things can sometimes get so short-sighted and people just focus on profits, to preserve brands like Facebook has long term is, I think, the utmost important, because these are this company has a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity in front of it over the next 5 to 10 years. Multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. All they have to do is keep these brands growing and strong. If they can just do that, man, the world is literally theirs. The world is theirs, all right? But if they falter and people flood out of the platforms and all of a sudden all their numbers start going negative, obviously this company is not going to be a multi-trillion-dollar company. So the most important thing right now for Facebook is continuing to spend money on employees, on systems, on artificial intelligence to get all the bad actors out of there and whatnot. Okay. Now, as far as me today, I ended up buying around 35 shares in one of my accounts, just under $5,000 worth at about $142 is when I ended up buying them at. And the reason I ended up doing that is just because I was afraid in case the stock really shot up in a massive way. I'd already built this into my biggest position in total, and I was kind of like, let me just buy another $5,000 worth just in case we were in a situation, and who knows, maybe it could shoot up like crazy tomorrow. We have no clue. Maybe it goes down, whatever. But as far as the stock price goes, I was afraid maybe they report like blockbuster earnings, and all of a sudden after hours the stock's trading at 160, 165, and that's where it trades at the open tomorrow, and then maybe it goes up to 165, 170, and I didn't want to be in a situation where all of a sudden, if I want to buy more Facebook shares, I'm buying at $165 or $170 or something. So I bought another 5,000 there, and I have a very good position built in Facebook. I will still aggressively add Facebook for probably the remainder of 2018 and into 2019 if the shares can stay under $160. Anything under $160, I will add aggressively. Anything really under 200 is very interesting to me, but as far as aggressive buying, it has to be under 160 to get me to aggressively buy the shares. I'm willing to buy Facebook all the way up until 200 though, so just so you guys know out there. I hope you guys enjoy this. As always, let me know if you are a Facebook shareholder down there in that comment section. If you want to come to my conference, once again, there are limited seats available now at this time. It's the first link down there in the description. Thank you for watching and have a great day.